Imagine this. You're starving. A mammoth carcass lies just ahead. Salvation. But as you get closer, that smell hits you. Your stomach churns. Your throat tightens. You feel pure, primal revulsion. You back away, choosing hunger over that. Sounds like weakness, right? Choosing to starve. Wrong. That gut-wrenching disgust you just felt. That was your caveman ancestors' greatest survival weapon. And it wasn't about being squeamish, it was a disgusting, brilliant superpower coded into your DNA that you still use every single day, often without realizing it. We're about to uncover the revolting truth. Okay, let's get real. We've all been there. That split second when something hits your senses and your entire body just screams no. Maybe it's the slimy texture of forgotten leftovers in the fridge, the unmistakable stench of a backed-up drain, or seeing someone sneeze right into their hand before reaching for the door handle. That immediate, visceral recoil, that tightening in your throat, that twist in your gut, that overwhelming urge to get away. That's disgust. It's not a polite dislike, it's primal, it's physical. It feels like an alarm bell ringing deep in your core. And here's the wild thing. Research shows this reaction is incredibly consistent across the globe. Whether you're in Tokyo, Toronto, or Timbuktu, seeing maggots writhing on rotting meat triggers that same deep-seated revulsion. It's not learned manners. It feels wired in. But why? Why would evolution hardwire us with such a powerful yuck reflex? What purpose could this incredibly unpleasant feeling possibly serve? Because disgust isn't just a feeling, it's a full-body defense system kicking into high gear. Scientists have pinpointed key areas deep in our brains that light up when we encounter something disgusting. This neurological alarm triggers a cascade of physical reactions designed for one thing: protection. Your face scrunches up the disgust face physically, trying to block offensive smells or sights from entering. Your stomach churns, sometimes leading to actual vomiting, to expel anything contaminated you might have ingested. Your heart rate might dip slightly, followed by a rise in blood pressure, part of that freeze-flight response. You instinctively recoil, putting physical distance between yourself and the threat. Even your skin might crawl, as if trying to shed contamination. Think of it like your body's internal hazmat team suiting up instantly. This isn't about being fussy, it's a sophisticated, automatic physiological program screaming contamination detected, evacuate or purge. But contamination from what? What invisible enemy was this system built to fight? Evolution isn't random. This powerful disgust system zeroes in on very specific triggers, signals that, for millions of years, spelled serious, danger. Core categories include 1. Food rejection, rotting meat, moldy substances. Why? Pathogens, bacteria, parasites, toxins that could cause fatal illness. 2. Body products, vomit, feces, blood. Why? Direct sources of disease. Feces is a major transmitter of intestinal parasites. 3. Animals and insects, rats, flies, maggots. Why? Vectors of disease and decay. 4. Poor hygiene and signs of sickness, open wounds, coughing visibly. Why? Avoiding infection. 5. Unsafe environments, stagnant water, decaying waste. Why? Breeding grounds for disease. These were the literal hazard signs of the ancient world, flashing neon warnings saying danger. Parasites ahead. That gut-wrenching feeling wasn't weakness. It was your ancestors' critical early warning system. But how exactly did this revulsion translate into a survival superpower? So, picture our ancestors. Food isn't guaranteed. Finding that mammoth carcass, it's like winning the prehistoric lottery until you get close. That overpowering stench of decay, the squirming maggots, the slimy discolored flesh, that's your disgust system screaming abort mission. Choosing to walk away wasn't weakness, it was genius survival strategy. Because eating that rotting meat wasn't just unpleasant, it was potentially a death sentence. Hidden within were armies of bacteria, parasitic worms, or deadly toxins. One meal could mean agonizing cramps, violent diarrhea, raging fever, or death. Disgust was the ultimate early warning system, a costly signal that said, the calories here might kill you faster than starvation. Find something else. It wasn't about being dainty. It was about avoiding invisible killers. But food was just a start. Disgust wasn't just a food critic, it was a 360-degree shield. Think about water. A stagnant pond might look refreshing, but if animals defecate in it, disgust screams don't drink. Steering away from waterborne horrors like giardia or cholera. Then there's people. Seeing a tribe member covered in weeping sores or coughing violently, that gut-level revulsion, that urge to keep your distance, that's disgust acting as behavioral immunity. Getting too close risked lethal infections. It enforced quarantine before we had the word. Even mating fell under its domain. Signs of sickness in a potential partner weren't just turn-offs, they were evolutionary red flags. Choosing an infected mate could mean getting sick yourself or dooming offspring. Disgust was an invisible suit of armor against a world teeming with microscopic predators. It protected the individual and the group. Here's the brutal truth. Parasites were arguably the biggest killers in human history, especially for children. Before modern medicine, parasitic infections were devastatingly common and often fatal. Worms stealing nutrients, causing malnutrition. Protozoa ravaging intestines. This was the constant pressure cooker our ancestors lived in. Disgust is the behavioral immune system, a psychological adaptation that evolved specifically to combat this threat. It worked alongside our biological immune system, but crucially, it acted first. It prevented contact and infection before the internal defenses engaged. Your biological immune system is the army fighting invaders inside the castle walls. Disgust is the guard on the gate. It's the proactive defense. The individuals whose disgust systems were hypersensitive were the ones most likely to avoid infection, stay healthy, reproduce, and pass on their genes. This gross feeling was the key superpower that let our species survive. But what happens when this ancient alarm faces the modern world? So, disgust saved our ancestors. Fantastic. But here's the problem. Our brains are lazy. That supersensitive contamination system didn't switch off with modern plumbing. It started looking for new threats. Psychologists discovered something startling: the same deep brain regions that fire up for rotten food also activate for social or moral impurity. Think, hearing someone described as dirty, scum, vermin, or a corrupt act called sickening. That's not accidental. Our ancient pathogen avoidance system is being hijacked. We unconsciously associate people or groups perceived as other, different cultures, classes, lifestyles, with disease. That revulsion meant for salmonella now fuels prejudice and dehumanization. An outgroup becomes untouchable. This isn't conscious hatred, it's our caveman brain misfiring, but it goes deeper. Disgust shapes our sense of right and wrong. We don't just find acts like betrayal or extreme greed wrong. We find them viscerally disgusting. We say they make us sick. We recoil. This is moral disgust. Research shows moral outrage triggers the same physiological responses as rotten food, nausea, the disgust face, even immune system activation. Why? As societies grew complex, we needed powerful mechanisms to enforce norms. Our brains piggybacked onto the disgust system. Behaviors threatening the social body became coded as contaminating. Feeling disgust motivated avoidance and punishment, aiding group cohesion. But this spillover has a massive downside. This wiring doesn't distinguish literal contamination from metaphorical uncleanness. This makes disgust a dangerous tool. Politics campaigns evoke disgust through imagery filth, decay, and language draining the swamp. This bypasses reason, triggering aversion, prejudice, associating marginalized groups with dirtiness or disease taps. This primitive system, justifying exclusion, irrational fears, fuels stigma and exacerbates mental health conditions like contamination, OCD, public panic, COVID-s, frantic wiping, disgust on overdrive, amplified fear. This is the messy legacy. An adaptation for physical safety now distorts social judgments. The shield became a weapon, but can we reclaim it? Okay, we've seen the dark side. But this wiring isn't going away. Can we harness disgust for good? Absolutely. Public health experts are masters. Brutally effective anti-smoking ads showing diseased lungs. They trigger disgust, associating smoking with decay. Hand-washing campaigns showing germs on unwashed hands. Makes the threat revoltingly real. Understanding disgust designs better choices. Supermarkets placing fresh produce front taps preference. For clean food, composting reframes waste as clean soil tubby. Choosing healthier snacks is easier, highlighting artificiality in junk food versus whole foods purity. Disgust, ethically targeted, remains a potent ally. The real upgrade is awareness. When you feel that gut clench, pause. Ask, is this protecting me from a real biological threat? Or is my caveman brain judging something harmless? Is that person actually a disease risk or just different? Is this food unsafe or unfamiliar? Mindful questioning weakens the automatic link. For social disgust, exposure and common humanity are key. Sharing meals, working together, hearing stories overrides the false contamination signal. For overwhelming fears like OCD, cognitive behavioral therapy is effective. Gentle exposure without compulsions teaches the brain the disgust alarm is a false positive. The goal isn't elimination, that's dangerous, but ensuring disgust works for you. The ultimate takeaway: disgust isn't a flaw. It's fundamental to your human inheritance, forged in survival against invisible enemies. It's your behavioral immune system, a first line of defense. The modern challenge is respecting its power while directing its focus. Use it wisely for genuine health risks and cleaner choices. But develop awareness to recognize when it's tricked by prejudice, politics, or irrational fears. Don't let this ancient superpower master you. Learn its triggers, question its targets, channel its energy. That gut-wrenching yuck is a testament to millions of years of survival. It's gross, it's powerful, and believe it or not, it's a core part of what makes you human. So, The nenext time you recoil from something gross, spoiled milk, a sketchy restroom, or an unsettling social feeling, remember that caveman facing the rotting mammoth. That revulsion. That's your secret superpower kicking in. It's ancient, instinctive, and it helped build our world by keeping us alive. It's okay that it's disgusting, that's the point. Understand it, respect its origins, and use that knowledge to navigate smarter and kinder. Don't fight the yuck, understand it. What about you? What triggers your disgust reflex super strongly? Was it learned or primal? Can you think of a time your disgust might have misfired? Tell me your thoughts and grossest triggers in the comments. If this dive into our primal wiring fascinated you, leave a thumbs up, it really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives into the surprising forces that make us human. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, feeling gross is actually pretty great. Stay curious.